further, but...
Second by Daniel.
Second.
All those in favor?
Well, discuss. Our student representatives are here, and we'd like to give them an opportunity.
Then he was going to make a motion.
Because our student reps are here. Yeah, we just want to give them an opportunity to share their site reports. So that's my motion. Well, want me just to discuss it, or do you want to? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move item 5.8 to item 5.9 and make 5.8 student rep report.
Discussion.
Whether or not our student reps at this time would like to comment on what they understand our upcoming budget is going to be, and if they have any ideas that they'd like to share. We will not help.
We're just discussing
Well, I
whether
mean, the public is going to discuss.
we're just going to discuss whether we are adding to the agenda their report. That's the motion. You can't go off onto a tangent. Do you have any discussion about adding them to the agenda?
No.
Okay, all those in favor? All right, unanimous. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your student reports right now.
Thank you. Okay, so 65 students from Farnford School participated in the St. Jude's Telethon. It was their first year, they were in the chorus, and they also sold stencils as a fundraiser. Those are just scented colored pencils, and they're awesome if you've never invested. They raised a total of $1,266 to go towards St. Jude's. So it was a really great turnout. They're also in the midst of CMT testing, and they just had their DARE graduation for their 5th grade class. From East School, beginning next Tuesday evening, March 20th, they're hosting a 6-week-long event called Conscious Discipline Workshops for interested parents and guardians. Conscious Discipline is an amazing program that was created to empower students and teachers with the skills to respond rather than to react to life events. Our staff participated in the training this past fall, and it found it to be life-changing. The skills we came away with are helping us improve the climate of our school, both for our students and staff. They feel strongly this program has a way to offer its parents really great help in supporting their children with no cost to them. And so, once again, it's for 6 weeks, and it sounds like it's every Tuesday. And that's all. Yeah.
From TMS, they recently raised $1,020 for the Washington, D.C. trip, which will be distributed equally among the 168 students. Also, on March 27th, the TMS School Climate Committee will be launching a campaign called Live and Let Live. The main component of this initiative is to create an awareness and understanding of the uniqueness of each of us as individuals. We are creating discussion groups known as pods, containing 15 to 20 students per team. These students will have the opportunity to have conversations about social issues, the new anti-bullying legislation, and create awareness of principles of respect to themselves and their fellow peers. Also, the 6th and 8th graders participated in the St. Jude Mathathon, which raised $5,883 to help kids at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Memphis. And from Southwest School, we began the month with our participation in the St. Jude's Telethon. Our talented chorus sang on stage. We are successfully moving along in terms of testing and enjoying the warm weather that allows us to take in some fresh air and expend some energy. Susan B. Anthony has presented Safe Touch Puppet, which shows to grades K through 2 and grade 4. There's a missing sentence there. I apologize. Grades K through 2 and grade 4 are looking forward to their musical performance on the 29th of March. We are also in the midst of a food drive to benefit United Way. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have been using the high school. I think it's been mentioned so far. We're in the middle of CAP week right now. I think we have the rest of the week and a couple of days next week left. Progress reports went out in homeroom on March 6th. The last third of the school year starts tomorrow. So It's not that anyone's counting. Winter sports are wrapping up and spring sports are starting. Tonight there is or was a talent show. It's by the Thespians in the Little Theater. Semi-formal dance is Friday at the Cornucopia, and that's $25 for students, and it's to benefit the junior class. And tomorrow night, Student Council is hosting a fashion show. It's going to be in the Little Theater, and it benefits both the junior and senior classes. And it sounds like it's going to be a really fun time, and tickets are $10 each, and you bought at the door. That's it.
Thank you.
No, we actually can't turn them on with our
Chair, prior to hearing from any particular community member, I'd just like to point out that we did receive from some young community members, their written comments in some of those regards. So Mrs. Lyons, fourth grade class at Frenchwood Elementary School, has submitted their opinions, and they are being photocopied and will be distributed to all the board members.
Thank you. All right. Part of this isn't going to make any sense because we're this far into the meeting, but we're going to open our school and community session. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or on other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments are requested to fill out the speaker sign-up sheet, including name and address, which must be stated at the beginning of your comments. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person, 10 minutes overall, to guarantee an efficient operation of the meeting. Is there any consensus or thought in 10 minutes? Discussion on that?
I have no problem letting everybody on the sheet, but I'd like to see the time limit kept for each individual. No more than 3 months.
All those in favor of extending the time period? Opposed, seeing none? All right. We're going to extend the community time session so that everyone that put their name on the list will get an opportunity to speak. I'm sorry? It was on the front table here at the beginning of the meeting for people to sign up if they wanted to speak. Would you like to come forward and add your name to the list? Anyone who didn't get that opportunity? We are going to ask that if your question was answered during the budget, that you would yield your time. He has the list over here now. That you would yield your time to the other members on the list, and if your question is the same as someone that's already asked it, if you would just kindly let us know that your question was already asked or your topic was already discussed. Donald.
I do have a handout for the board. Please say one for the mayor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, please.
My name is Brian McDonald, 86 Wyoming Avenue, Torrington. I feel it's important to put a good word in for the guidance counselors, seeing as they've become an endangered species here in the Torrington Public School System. Back in 2003, our then superintendent, Dr. Riccio, struck the first blow against the guidance department by eliminating the guidance counselors in the elementary schools. The theory was we could do with less by foregoing preventative programs which were begun in the elementary levels when they were the most effective. That eliminated 2 positions. They never were reinstated. But the problems were not eliminated. They just were shifted to the middle school to deal with. At the middle school, there were 3 guidance counselors who worked hard to structure group sessions to discuss with kids such issues as respect, positive career choices, honesty, responsibility, and peer relations. Then in March of 2010, the next blow to the guidance department came in the form of a further reduction from 3 to 2 counselors at the middle school. Despite the recommendation of the American School Association of having 250 to 1 student counselor ratio, this left the system with 2 counselors dealing with over 1,200 students. Of course, by not having a counselor to deal with 6th grade students was the method of justifying this action. Unfortunately, no one explained to the 6th graders that they couldn't have any problems during the year. At the same time, 1 counselor was eliminated from the high school, bringing their total down to 4. Now 2 years later, let's eliminate 2 more, 1 from the middle school and 1 from the high school. In the last 10 years, 4 positions have been eliminated, with 2 more on the block. Everything must be running smoothly without them. Last I looked, they were the first people called when problems arose within each school. They kept the lines of communication open with parents and guardians. They contact outside agencies when students exhibit harmful tendencies. They meet on a regular basis with students who need help to exist within the school structure and who are trying to resolve personal issues. They are the prime link to social agencies when family matters cloud students' ability to function in school. They are the thread that ties together the teacher who is trying to resolve issues in the classroom and the administration who is trying to run the school. They are advocates for the kids and many other things. What happens without them?
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
I have to ask you that, that's the end of your 3 minutes, so that we can get through everyone. We appreciate the handout, and there are no guidance counselor cuts on the budget that was presented tonight, just so you're aware of that.
Okay. Can I just ask the last thing on the page?
We're trying to yield the same time to everyone, and I apologize, but you do have it here. All right, we'll definitely read it, and we'll give it a copy to the mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Armin Minicho, 531 Charlotte Street. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. A comment then a question here. I'm here to talk about the music program, possible cuts in that. Elementary school is a tough time for some kids, especially kids with special needs. And one of the places that they find a home is in the music program. And there was a lot of talk tonight about the test scores and the testing and things like that. And studies have shown that music, in a variety of ways, has brought up test scores in students, especially students who have special needs. My other question is, the city has asked for 0. What if you don't go back with a 0?
They can either approve or not approve our budget.
And then you would have to go back to the drawing board, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is that something you're thinking about?
About going back to the drawing board?
No, about going to the city without a 0.
The budget committee has put forth to the board a budget that is an increase of 3.59% for us to consider sending forward. So it is, that's the current number.
We didn't feel responsible, excuse me, we didn't feel it was responsible to the community to do anything other than what we recommend.
Thank you.
And there is no music cuts in the budget.
Right, well, in the possible proposed budgets, if the
Yes.
city doesn't accept them, I just wanted to make a comment about the music
Oh, and I
program
appreciate
and
that.
how it benefits students and it will benefit the district, as far as that goes.
Thank you. Katie Torley. I hope I said it right.
I'm Kate Klein. I would like to present this petition and
It's not easy being there, is it?
I would like to present this petition in support of the music program.
Faith Lockhart. Oh, it's a pair, and Teresa Tejan.
Mr. Chairman, while we're waiting for the comment, can you explain what the process is for the budget approval? A lot of people don't know, so clarify it for them.
The way the budget process works for the board is the superintendent and the business director and staff put together a proposal to the Board of Ed. It goes to the budget committee. At the budget committee, they review that proposal and they either support or do not support items that are on that budget. Once the budget committee has an approved, on their level budget, they bring it to the full board, which we received this evening. We'll then go to two public sessions, then it'll come back to us, and then we'll have our discussion of what we want to keep, what we don't want to keep, cuts that want to be added, cuts that want to be taken away, and then when we vote in a majority, we'll present it to the city. It has to be there by April 15th. And then the city digests it, and then they tell us whether they approve or do not approve. And then we come back.
I'm sorry, but by the city, just so they're really clear, the next step, once the full board approves, then it goes to the Board of Finance, technically goes to the Board of Finance, then owns it. The Board of Finance, these are people that are appointed, they get to have the final say over that number. They cannot, the Board of Finance cannot cherry pick certain items to delete. They can just say, if your overall budget is $67 million, you need to cut X number of dollars from it, and then it comes back to us, and we have to do the surgery. That's how it's been done in the past, and in the past, the big cuts have been $1 million something, and then we have to figure out how those cuts are made.
Yep, thank you. Yes.
I'm Faith Lockhart. I live on 379 Cardinal Circle.
I'm Teresa Tejan, and I live on 1861 23rd Street. We're from the Wilson team, and we'd like to thank the Budget Committee for forwarding the budget without any cuts so far. We understand that the budget needs to be cut, but we'd also like to meet in the middle. Asking our families to pay $1,500 to swim on a team is a huge change compared to paying nothing. And that would cut a lot of things for us. It would decrease the number of kids that would swim for us. It would also decrease the community at the school. We like to think of ourselves as Raider Pride, and we're like, as one, all the sports come together, support each other, and I think that's a great aspect about our school. Girls swimming is one of, if not the most successful teams here, but it's also the most expensive since we need to rent out the lot. And if anything, we need to compromise, and there should be a flat rate, and we should discriminate because we don't have the facility here for us. Student athletes and student musicians, they make up the success stories at THS. Inability to pay shouldn't prohibit success. Even if it did, the entire district and town would suffer.
And not just swimming, but sport participation in general would decrease massively. And that would like make it even more expensive for each student because the prices would skyrocket because less people would be participating. There are so many people that have either been to a swim meet or participated on a swim team here, like that whole section over there.
I'm going to challenge Teresa's comment about the most successful team.
It just, like the swim team and all sports in general, they just bring the team together or the community together as a whole, and ultimately the city, and getting rid of that would ultimately tear apart the city. And as you said before, the school should be empty if such budget cuts have been arranged. And so this is an appeal to the Board of Finance, the City Council, and each and every taxpayer in Torrington to support our schools and in turn support our community. Thank you.
Just so everyone's aware,
Can we get Deanne to start heading down?
We, as a budget committee, spent a good amount of time reviewing sports and pay to play or pay to participate. Not only did we do that with sports, but we also did that with chorus, music, and a number of other student activities. We did not recommend within this budget deferring the full or entire cost of those programs to the families. We did, though, recommend a flat fee, to go back to your compromise, of $25 per student, per activity, or per sport. So that's what's actually included to help us defray some of that burden across the greater scope of the taxpayers of the community, of which roughly about 2/3 are not, do not have children in school. So we have to think a little bit more globally, which is why we recommended that fee. So I just wanted to be clear about what's been recommended so far. But thank you, your point was well taken.
My name is Deanne Russ. I live at 151 Fairlawn Drive. What I kind of have to say is more towards if you guys have to go, please consider this if you guys have to go to the zero budget. I'm a parent of a second grade student at East School. We moved to Connecticut 3.5 years ago. This was not an easy decision and definitely not one we took lightly. We lived in the Midwest, we lived in the South, so any move made was looked at from every different angle. When we considered moving to Connecticut, the schools were of great importance to us, seeing as we had a young child just old enough to enter a public school. As we took great time looking for a new home, checking crime rates and demographics, we also took great time to look into the schools. Any house we even remotely considered, we looked into the schools for that town. This, of course, was done when we considered Torrington. School class sizes and test scores were only the start. I also researched parent reviews of the Torrington school system online. After this was done, then I started the legwork. We talked to people in the area where we'd be living. We wanted to know what their hands-on experience were with the schools. Granted, there's always some things everyone says need to be changed, just like any school district. The overall opinion was this was a good educational environment for our son. This played a huge part in our decision to live here. If at that time I would have been told that my son's class would contain almost 30 kids per teacher because of cutbacks, or that there was no string, instrumental, or arts department because of budget constraints, I seriously doubt we would have chosen to live here. We all want our children to have every possible opportunity, and removing the arts and putting them in such large classes doesn't do that. It puts our children at a disadvantage. Our taxes here are the highest we've ever seen. But if the education was good and the opportunities were great, then we decided it was worth it. Are you going to make it so us and others regret that decision? If you make it so that the average middle-class family can't afford for their child to play sports or have any opportunity to learn the arts, then how many other families are going to want to move into our town? What are we presenting as a good incentive to move and stay in Torrington? High property taxes, large class sizes, no music or art, a sports program that costs so much that families currently working hard to make a good life can't afford to do so? If the families don't stay and new ones don't come in, then we have a nasty cycle this town is going to be in. Everyone needs to see that this does not just affect the families with young kids in school. This will affect our entire town. If the cuts have to be made, and it's absolutely 100% necessary, then we need to start from the administration down, not going right to our kids. Thank you.
100 Mountain Avenue, Franklin. I just want to say something about the art program that my son went through at Forbes School. Mrs. Chambers, the art teacher at Forbes, had a bio of a modern artist, Mondrian, with a print of one of his paintings on the wall outside of her classroom. Next to it were reproductions of his paintings by her young students. Mondrian is not one of my favorite modern artists, and I used to tease her about it. But what a world-class introduction to modern art for young children. In her class in grade 5, my son molded a documentary-like figure, fired it, and displayed it. I defy anyone in any school system, public or private, a better hands-on introduction to art than we have here in Torrington.
Perlato? I apologize, I couldn't read it right.
Good evening, my name is Donna Perlato, 62 Eno Avenue. I'm a parent of a 10th grader at THS and a 5th grader at East School who will be going to TMS in September. Over the years, I have witnessed many changes in education. For example, teachers' jobs cut, larger class sizes, programs eliminated. This truly needs to stop. I understand times are hard for everyone, cuts need to be made, but do our children understand what is actually happening? What does a parent do when they know their child loves to play sports or music, and you have to look in their eyes and say, sorry, we can't afford for you to play? What happens to that child, and what is that child to do? We know large class sizes don't work, children fall behind, and where does that child go? I'm a disabled mom, and my husband works for the state of Connecticut and took a wage freeze for 2 years. I know right now I will be looking my kids in the eyes and saying, sorry, we can't do it. And I'm sure many other families will be put in the same position. I'm asking the board and the mayor to please consider the consequences of what will happen if these cuts are made. We need our teachers, we need sports, arts, and music. These are the things our children look forward to.
Mary? Okay.
Just so y'all know, you can't hear any of you in the back. I'm not that far in the back. My name is Mary Miller. I'm at 80 Eno Avenue. I'm just a little confused and concerned about how you came about on some of the figures. And there has been talk about charging $25 for people to play music. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but I think, I don't know, maybe not. In the Torrington High School, in order for them to take music, it is a grade. And in an elementary school, it's a grade too. However, in the high school, it counts towards their GPA. If you put the $25 fee on it, you are essentially setting a precedent that any course can be charged an extra fee. $25 for a fee for a class that counts towards a GPA. Next will be English or possibly math. I have an honor student, so I do pay extra fees for some of her classes in order so that she can even qualify for colleges for her medical. She's going into a medical field, but the school doesn't really offer a lot of her courses unless she takes the college courses so that she is prepared. Some of the other people have concerns. You charge these fees, whether it's in sports or music, who are going to pay for the children who are classified as underprivileged? Is that going to come out of the budget someplace else? Or are you going to turn around and just tell these kids, hey, I'm sorry, doesn't matter whether you want to play music or sports, you don't come up with the $25, you can't play. So I have a little concern of where you're going to come up with the money for that, or who's going to pay, basically. Also, the figures that you come up with as to how much the music is worth. You know, you say, I can't remember the exact number, but say you said it was $200,000 you were going to save. Is that teacher salary? Is that money we're paying extra to these teachers to teach our kids? Is it money you're paying for the sports teacher come in and teach them their athletics? I mean, is this above, or is this an actual salary? I'm very confused on that as to what this fee is gonna go towards. You know, is it going towards the teacher's salary? Or is there extra hidden fees that no one knows about? A lot of the students, and I think the parents too, have already expressed to you the detrimentalness that will happen if you charge fees, or if you have to eliminate these programs altogether. Let's face it, our school is not, our district is not ranked the highest. We already have a very high, especially in the high school, dropout rate. For some kids, keeping the music or the the sports is what's helping to keep them in school. You take that away, you're going to lose even more students, and I believe our dropout rate will go even higher. I also have a question.
Mary, I have to call you some sort of, but you want to answer some of those questions?
Sure. We have to, in order to implement the fee, we have to develop a policy and vet out the structure at which that'll operate underneath. With that said, there aren't any other hidden fees. And at this point, I think the who will get charged will be, again, fleshed out underneath the policy that the Board of Education will set. The initial thought from the Budget Committee was that it would be a flat fee per student regardless of socioeconomic standing in the community.
Right.
It would just be a flat.
So you're asking them to pay for it? Or if you, if
Am I asking the students, I'm asking the no,
Right.
We have recommended that the families pay that.
I have to look it up.
Or fundraise, or...
It could be fundraised, it could come up with it in a number of ways.
but the school wouldn't pay for it then?
No, not at this point, under its current construction.
Only your $25 fee.
But if it's counted as your grade and your GPA, that puts it in a different category altogether.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
My name is Emily Jerry. I'm a third grader at Torringford School, and I'm very interested in taking trumpet and band next year. I'm asking you not to cut band from the budget, not just for me, but all the students interested. For some students, school is the only opportunity for them to take music classes.
Thank you, Emily.
I live on 406 Torringford Street. My name is Bridget Bertoldi and I live on 90 Torringford West Street. And we're here to represent the music program. We've been starting since 4th grade at East Elementary School. And for music, we had another window open. We understand like a new language. And there's been new opportunities from school that we would have had no idea about, such as music festivals, concerts, competitions that shows that we could do more than what we would have known at home.
Yeah, music's been my life. I'm going into music school. I'm a senior in high school. I've been auditioning at some of the top schools in the country, Juilliard, Eastman. It's been a crazy ride, and you know, just the fact that looking at the music program as an extracurricular activity just completely boggles my mind. I'm drumming this year at the band, and you know, the amount of kids that struggled to even pay for a garment bag this year, that was $15 in band. That was a struggle for a lot of kids, a lot of my friends. So having them have to pay a fee just to participate in something that they love and take part in seems completely ridiculous to me. We funded a concert last year. It was a VH1 Save the Music benefit concert, and it funds music education programs across our country that are in danger of, you know, losing their programs. And the last thing that we would want to do is be one of those schools that would have to be funded for. That would be completely devastating, so.
I have a quote from somebody whose daughter was in orchestra. She said it was her only anchor throughout all these years. She wasn't in any sports or clubs or anything. It was the only thing that stayed the same throughout her life, so it was more than an extracurricular activity. It's a lifestyle. So just really difficult. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Kellogg?
That would be me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you coming from over there.
I know I'm hard to see.
Sneaking up on you.
Before I make my comments, I just want to preface by saying, number one, it would be nice if all these microphones could be plugged into a couple of speakers so that all these people behind me could hear what you guys are talking about. I used to televise these meetings when we used to televise them, and that's a possibility that I'm sure wouldn't cost much either, I don't think. Secondly, I'm not here to talk about budget, so that should probably make you happy too. Members of the board, I come before you this evening to speak in favor of hiring our acting superintendent of schools, Cheryl Klocko.
Don, can I hold you for 1 second? Just to ask you to give your name and address. So that
I'm sorry, Don Kellogg, 197 Meyer Road, Torrington.
Thank you.
As I was saying, I come before you to speak in favor of hiring our acting superintendent of schools, Cheryl Klocko, as Torrington's new superintendent. I was a teacher in the Torrington school system for 35 years, retiring in 2002. During that time, I worked for many superintendents, most of whom were hired outside the Torrington school system. Some were good, some not so good. I believe it's time for the present board to hire a person who has already proven herself a competent leader, one who puts her heart and soul into the education of our students. For the past 10 years, since my retirement, I've been tutoring students for the Torrington school system. This year, I'm tutoring a student at the administration building where I have been able to witness on a daily basis Mrs. Klocko's dedication and commitment to the Torrington's educational system. Her day is never dictated by the clock. Mrs. Klocko is an articulate, intelligent, hardworking, and caring educator who always brings the best interests of the students, teachers, and parents to the forefront. I believe that this Board of Education would be extremely wise to hire Cheryl Klocko as its new superintendent of schools. Thank you.
Jeff Sanzone.
How you doing tonight? My name is Jeff Sanzone, 300 Greenwood Road. Most of the wonderful people here in front of me have pretty much said what I already feel, so I'll just keep it short and sweet. I'm here regarding the potential cuts to the music program. I'm a father of 5, and I've watched my kids and other kids go through it. I think it's a wonderful thing for the kids. I think it helps with their confidence, making good decisions in the future. And I think with a lot of these proposed cuts, we could potentially be endangering this generation and following generations of this town in the future. And we do have a wonderful town here. I'm glad to be a part of it. And a wonderful teaching crew. If you guys haven't got the opportunity in April to see their winter concert, May 30th, they have a spring concert, and I strongly recommend seeing it. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you.
Jessica Power.
I am a member of both band and chorus, and I love both of them. They're very fun, and they really are fun, and they're a good way to spend recess. When, even though it's nice to go outside, it's fun even to spend time doing something that you love. And if these programs were eliminated or were charged to be able to be in, I would be very disappointed because since Torrington is one of the 100 best music programs in the country, if they were eliminated and certain children couldn't do the programs altogether, we wouldn't be able to get that great honor ever again. So that's what I have to say, and I think that if this did happen, it would be a very much disappointment and conflict. Thank you.
Wendy Fedor.
My name is Wendy Fedor. I live at 5520 Farm Lane. I apologize for any redundancy, but I'm just going to plug along and make it as quick as possible. Tonight I would like to speak in favor of the proposed increase to the Torrington Public School System budget. I would love to be able to address each and every proposed cut, but due to time constraints, I will make my best effort to be brief and to the point. Just 1 year ago, the 3-year strategic plan approved by the Board of Education put forward 4 sustainable budget goals. The 4th goal focused on 5 specific categories that could not be sacrificed when agreeing on a budget. And I would like to focus on these specifically. One category was technology integration and upgrades. In regards to the proposed cuts in the technology budget, I personally don't feel that any cuts in this area is acceptable at all due to the archaic technology already in place at the present time. Another such category was programs, including the arts and music. I feel it's important for children to be exposed to a vast array of enrichment opportunities besides the core curriculum, opportunities that may not be available otherwise. The pay-for-play option as initially proposed would be devastating to the district on so many levels. Sports build character and confidence. They encourage children to work as a team and to achieve personal goals that they set for themselves. Dropout rates at THS have been a subject of interest in the past, and let's be honest, some of these same at-risk students come to school just for the opportunity to be able to participate in sports. The new proposal of a $25 activity fee is a much more manageable option and a small price to pay for this opportunity. It's funny, as I was sitting here putting my thoughts down on paper and kind of dreading the thought of having to sit up here and sweat in front of all of you, I got to thinking that perhaps back when I was a student, the public speaking classes maybe were one of the victims of budget cuts. And so I just want to say that my point is that decisions that you make today can have a lasting effect on people throughout their lives. In your statement of integrity, it states, the goal of the Board of Education members is to improve the education of Torrington's children and to advocate for them in their best interests. By realizing a zero increase was not in our standards' best interest, I applaud you for your proposed increase in the budget and for looking out for what is best for our city's children in regards to their education and future successes.
Good evening, Kathy Peterson, 445 Lorraine Lane. I wear a few hats in the city, but tonight my mom hat is firmly in place. I would just like to take a moment to thank our principals, teachers, administrators, and Board of Ed for all their hard work putting this budget together. It's a difficult job at best. I'm not going to do my spiel on music because I think everyone else is doing an awesome job saying how important it is in all levels of our community. I am going to talk about our average, everyday students who go to school every day and try to do the right thing. I think we may have forgotten those children. We spend, on all the budget meetings I have gone to over the past few weeks, I look at the budget, I see regular ed students losing out. I see ELL, ESL, programs for students on the brink of failing growing larger and larger. We need those programs. I have no question in my mind we need special ed. But we have a huge majority of students that are the ones feeling the wrath of all these cuts. Those kids are the ones that are losing. I see declining in course offerings, electives for our greater population. Should we be looking into other budgets other than just sports and music that we can make cuts in? Tough questions, hard questions, sad questions, but questions that need to be asked. We need to dig deeper. Over the last 3 years, I have watched teachers retire and not be replaced at THS. I have watched teachers lose their jobs due to budget cuts. I have watched programs go away, electives go away. I have watched the number of course offerings go away, which stopped many students from taking the courses to get into the colleges of their choice. I have watched students not be able to take the AP and honor classes that they had taken the prior years to make fulfillments to get into college. I have watched us lose assistant principals, guidance counselors, paraprofessionals, secretaries, custodians. I have watched our high school decline. We are making an extremely bad choice in getting rid of world language in the elementary school. I believe it was 2005 we took world language off of our high school requirement for graduation. That was a big mistake. Kids don't realize they need 3 years of a language to get into a lot of schools. Everyone thinks 2, colleges want 3. I know, I just went through the process. I have a son who had to make difficult choices last year. He had to take independent studies for a conversational Italian 5 course to meet the fulfillment. He's a language major in college. It's very difficult to take an independent study on a conversational course. But he did it and he got a great scholarship. So we're all happy. I believe that cutting world language is wrong. If you cut it in the middle school, you're going to have to rearrange your entire high school because you'll have kids going in at level 1. I'm the mom of 2 more students who play multiple sports. I will gladly pay $25 to keep our sports and music programs in our school. But more important than that to me, we need to keep our teachers. A few years ago, we hired many positions. My last paragraph. We hired a few positions on a 2-year grant that we were well aware of was going to go away. At the time those positions were hired, the questions asked were, what is going to happen in 2 years if we no longer have that grant money? And the response from the prior administration and some of the board members here was, hopefully the economy will be better. Guess what? It's not. Those positions need to be looked at. Those positions equal 3 teachers. Teachers teach kids is what we need in a classroom. I'm asking this administration and the board to put the educational needs of our students first and foremost.
Kevin, or to the group, within this budget, we have not recommended or proposed a cut to world language. That's in the curriculum, it's in the budget. So we haven't proposed a reduction there. I just wanted everyone to understand.
My name is Leah DeSmith, and I live at 50 Martha Street in Torrington. I'm coming here tonight as the parent of a 2nd grader at Southwest School. And I'm not here just for my son, but for all the children in the community that I care deeply for, as I know that every single one of you care the same and have worked so tirelessly, and I truly am grateful. This is a monumental task. I know you guys are working so hard. I don't profess to know anything about running a school district or a budget, but I guess what I'm here to say is I want to speak from my heart and say that we cannot eliminate the essentials that these students need, the essentials to laugh, to love, to know colors, to know music, to receive love from teachers and staff that are so essential. So I don't know where the money's going to come from, but I know that this kind of stuff cannot be just neglected because we're just looking at numbers. I really appreciate everything that everyone does. but I think we're at a point of almost insanity. Like, how much more can we take away? Let's eliminate the cafeteria staff and possibly feed the kids sugar packets. They'll be juiced up for the afternoon, but the teachers are gonna go insane. The kids are gonna be vegetables. All of these essential things that I'm talking about, the heart, is the same nourishment that they need. We can't just feed them numbers and letters and expect them to get it. So I applaud everyone for all the work you've been doing. We need to work together as a community. Yes, I would be happy to pay for school supplies for my child and help out others. But I don't want to see my principal being spread between 2 schools. I don't want to see the nurses being spread between the 5 schools. There are a lot, we are all brilliant people, have a lot of creative ideas, and we can make this happen together, but we cannot create any more insanity and work at a 0 budget any longer. Something has to change, and we all have to know it and feel it as a community. I think public education is a gift to all of us, and we need to appreciate that and be thankful and know that the essence of a child is way more important than any numbers. So if the mind is backed by a determination and a will, then miracles will happen and we can do it together. Thank you.
Christina DeLeo.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Christina DeLeo, and I'm from the Torrington Middle School, 32 Street. Tonight I'm here in regards to the budget items pertaining to the music department's pay to participate, which was presented earlier. I, as a student, am worried about what's going to happen to the music program if students do have to pay to participate, because band allows us students to work as a team to perform concerts for the general public, learn a new language because music is its own language. Meet many people who enjoy doing what they do and what you do, and finally getting recognized nationally for what we do as students here in Torrington. And I have been aware that children in the band at my school said that if this budget does go through, they will quit band, which they really love. So. Band is and always has been a graded class under the arts, not a separate activity after school like the jazz band, which I'm in. So my question to you guys is, how will we be graded if we have to pay to take this class? Because, well, won't the music teachers feel that they'll have to give us an A if we are paying to do this class, even though it's taken as a class like the entire other day? And then, finally, colleges require an art, and this is accepted as one of those arts. So, those that don't enjoy any other art but band will, like, they'll have a problem getting into a college without an art. And so please take into consideration what I presented to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to also inform the community, the fee that we're talking about is for extracurricular activities, not necessarily for a course which is required curriculum. And I do have to say that, I cannot say, I should say, that we have, as a budget committee and a large representative of this board, has been very active in participating in the construction of this budget, along with the superintendent. And we've tried to take in as many ideas from the community as we possibly can, from the various stakeholders, from the unions, from the city, from anyone. We have email addresses that are out on the website by any means. If there's a stone that we've left unturned, we haven't cornered the market on good ideas. So we're looking for your input. We're looking for your participation. With that said as well, we recommend this budget not necessarily thinking that we've done a good job. We recommend this budget in such a manner that we feel it's the most responsible budget that we can extend or recommend to the city. If it was up to us, we echo everything that you say. We're on board with you. The question is that how much can the community bear to continue to finance? There is a finite amount of finance in this community that can fund education, along with the fire department, public works, keeping our roads clear and clean and snow-free. At least that's cooperated with us this year. But anyways, I just wanted everyone to know it is with great consternation that this board recommends the 3.59% increase. And we feel as though we're on the same side of the table you are. We're just as frustrated having to do that. And many of us have children within the district, so we understand wholeheartedly the impacts of everything that we've recommended. So again, please continue to show up at the site visits, the site presentations, send us your emails. If you feel as though you want things in the budget and the community is willing to rally and support behind that, we're here to represent you and your interests. However, we have a fiduciary responsibility to do the best we can with the dollars we have. So, my 2 cents.
Matt Cavanero.
Thank you. My name is Matt Cavanero. I live on 848 Torrenford Street. And first of all, I'd like to thank the board for not cutting the music programs. But I would like to point out that whenever there is budget cuts, it seems as if the music programs are always the first on the chopping block, which gives the impression that they're the least valued programs in the school district. And as a THS senior, and as someone who's not even a member of the band, I'll be the first to say that music has always been important in my life. For me, it started in 4th grade, playing saxophone for my elementary school band, but it wasn't long before I realized that saxophone really wasn't for me, and I got my first guitar, and I haven't really looked back since. But now as a senior, I'm planning to pursue music production in college, and I can say without a doubt that it was those first awkward squeaks on a saxophone that was probably about twice the size of my meager 10-year-old body that opened my eyes to the world of music and has ultimately made me a better person because of it. That's all I'd like to say.
William Guido. Bill Guido, 278 High Drive, Oregon. I did have this big, lengthy thing prepared for all of you, but we do seem to be on the same page with this. You guys have a really tough decision to make. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. However, having that said, in regards to the proposed cuts to the music and arts program, anybody who comes into the town of Torrington can see that it's really wholeheartedly based upon music. With the restoration of the Warner Theater, the Nutmeg Ballet, there's so many programs in place here for music and arts that if they take it away out of the schools, I think it's going to be really detrimental to the whole community. In regards to school sports, I believe they're exactly that. They're part of school. I don't think they should be charged for it. I think having a $25 fee is just opening the door. And now, 2 more years down the road, that $25 is going to be $35 or $40 or $45. It's going to keep going up. The door has been opened, the fee is in place, it's not going to go away. Excuse me. I'm just going to skim through this because you guys have already touched on most of this. So, early introductions to such music and art have definitely already been proven that they're linked to high achievements in art and science and math. You know, all of our children, we all have aspirations of becoming something, whether it be a doctor, a scientist, a musician, or an athlete. You know, and not all communities can afford a wide range of arts like we can. You know, for example, my son. You know, he has dreams of being a musician, a singer, a dancer, an extreme sports athlete. You know, he wants to do all of that stuff. Torrington's a great place for him to get that type of an education. Like I said, we also have a number of dance academies, the Warner. There's art plastered all over the town. Sides of buildings have, you know, people's artworks all over them. And it's still being done today. There's a new one being put up right next to City Hall. That's still not done. We still have the old Coke logos up on buildings. I mean, you know, there's art everywhere in this town. It's a very important part. I'm sure we would agree that we would have to, you know, prefer to have Torrington known for its education rather than for some of the other detrimental things that go on. I mean, you know, we know that we're not a very affluent community. We don't have as much money as Litchfield or Greenwich or some of the other communities throughout the state. They might be able to absorb a budget cut a little bit better than we can. All right. However, something's got to be done. I mean, it's obviously that's the cost of living and the cost of fuel and energy and everything else that's putting us in this type of a situation where you guys now have to look at budget cuts in order to keep these programs in place. Bottom line is you need more funding. We need more money. And that increase that you're talking about, I don't think is such a bad thing. It's what is needed to keep the district running the way it is without having to cut any crucial elements to our, you know, our future. And with that, I'll turn it over to my son because, like I said, almost everything else was already brought up. And you guys, like I said, I believe we're on the same page with this, so. It's all you, bud.
I don't really have anything. That's all been pretty much said.
It's all right, say it.
Say it.
Just leave out the teacher's names.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm defending the music and arts program. You will crush so many children's hearts if you take away art and music. Also, many kids may want to do art for the rest of their lives, and how do you expect them to continue their passion for art if there's no art class in school? I don't want to be in a school and we don't have freedom of expression. With that said, I have had the best teacher in Southwest School for Art. I love the way she teaches and her creative ideas to help us with our art pieces. Now on the other hand, music. The middle school band is so big, there are like 80 kids that all share a passion for music. If you take that away, all the kids are going to be so upset. We won't have a band to join if you take it away. In Torrington, school district has been recognized as one of the top 100 districts for schools for music and art. That is an amazing accomplishment. Now, I don't know about you, but I would like to make that accomplishment again. But we won't be able to if you take away art and music. And in Southwest School, I had an amazing music teacher. When I was in elementary school, I always got so excited when we would go to music class. And not just because I love music, it's that I always knew that I was going to have a fun time while I was learning. I say this because my music teacher is a really fun guy. He makes the best jokes ever. And my music teacher now is a really fun and nice teacher. He's always here to support us if we get stuck on a question about music. Now who will answer that question if he is not there to answer it or guide us towards the answer? Now I hope after you heard what I have to say that you all make the right decision and keep art and music programs. Thanks. Stay free.